God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. Sometimes He has set me free. I feel so good. God has smiled on me. Oh yeah. Good to me. One more time. God has smiled on me. Every day of my life, I feel it. He gives me strength and energy. God help me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh yeah.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people, and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say,
God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me.
then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us.
God, let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. He's been I feel it.
Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown.
God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me.
You will find in life, as I wish you, first of all, a good morning, you will find in life people will literally be angry, be upset that you are where you are, and that you have survived what you survived. They actually are mad. They're not mad that you struggled. They're mad that you survived. That you survived unbothered, unavailable to a spiritual attack, unruffled by the battles and struggles you went through to get where you are. Angers them because it not only raises that spirit of jealousy they have, but it makes them feel less than because they've not used their time wisely. And as you go from one challenge to the next, because that's what growth is, a continual facing of challenges. You're not growing if you're not facing challenges. And as you go from one challenge to the next, sometimes you push, and sometimes you have to be patient and let some things play out. Do all you can do and supposed to do, and then let things play out. Because God's already worked out what you're trying to get done. It's already worked out. The key is that what you're doing, your work, going back to the weekend assignment of focusing and committing to taking care of your business. The key is that your business is not just about you, but that your business elevates you for a greater good that God wants done. And as long as you have that centered, that your business, your work is part of a larger move of God in these times and with these purposes, you can push yourself, but you can also be patient at the same time as you push it. Knowing God will bless what God has ordained, as long as you don't do it for self-glory alone. Oh, you have ego gratification out of it. It's part of the reward. But that should not be all that you're there for. The higher you level up, the more you serve more than yourself. And you don't only just accept that, you expect that. That's part of the journey. In fact, that's the cause of the journey. Because at the end of the day, yes, we all want to be what we call successful. We all want to be of note in whatever field we're in. But at the end of the day, if we don't fit into serving the larger picture of what is needed and what God wants at these times, it's all for nothing. For the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come
to Keep It Real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. Well, a lot is going on. We have a whole lot of ground to cover today, so let's jump in it. And already I see people on the message board on nationalactionnetwork.net's live stream. Bruce Turner, Hump Day Wednesday. Let's get going, people. I like that. Good afternoon, Ayatunda Garrett. Good afternoon, Rev. Here with you. You don't know how much I need this platform, this community, and your voice. Love you back. Tanya Stovall says, good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton, and the chat group. Lot to talk about. Well, top news just broke that President Trump just ended a phone call with Vladimir Putin of Russia. And it seems that there will be no immediate peace in Russia, Ukraine. Now, let's remember, Trump had said that he could end the Ukraine-Russia war in one day. Now, it's June the 4th. He was inaugurated January 20th. So obviously that was hyperbole. But now not only are they not near peace, you've got Ukraine that has bombed inside of Russia some sites that has been considered unpenetratable. Zelensky and Ukraine has shown a lot of muscle that they had not demonstrated. And I don't know what the conversation between Trump and Putin was, just ended not long ago, according to Trump. But I'm sure that there's been a lot of embarrassment on Putin's part and anger on Putin's part. But all of that is going to affect us because it's going to impact how we deal with a lot of this inside the country. Also, we see that ICE has launched the largest immigration push so far. They just raiding places, taking students, taking young people. And I really want to hear from you in these next 3 hours what you think about the lockdown of ICE. Now, polls are saying that some blacks are for it, that they think there's too many migrants here and they affect blacks. They're taking stuff from blacks. Many say that they're not taking nothing from us. Unemployment is among blacks always was higher than whites, and it's no different now. The data is about the same. What are you saying about all these ICE raids? Particularly now where they've arrested a mayor and arrested charged members of Congress. And let's not forget some of the people that they're deporting and raiding are people of color. The other day when they ended the whole question of deportation rights, it was Haiti, it's Venezuela, all nations of color, while they brought in 59 white South Afrikaners who claim that there was genocide against whites. And, of course, Trump jumped in and said it was. No evidence, nowhere, nobody. So what do you think about the ICE raids at a time they're bringing in white South Africans? And then some of us said it was inevitable, but it's still big news. Elon Musk, reputed to be the richest man in the world, and was for a time, for the first couple of months, appeared like he was the co-president. He was there with Trump every day. He was calling shots. He was just taking out drills, talking about he was going to cut the budget. And all of a sudden, they came to an end a few days ago. And now you have Elon Musk blasting President Trump's one big, beautiful bill as a fiscal disaster. This is Musk saying this now. Musk posted a barrage of messages on X calling the bill a disgusting abomination, pork-filled, and fast-track to bankruptcy. This is Musk talking about his good buddy, Donald Trump's bill. And some are saying that Musk is mad. Trump fired one of his people. Another saying that they didn't pass a regulation that would have assisted electric cars. Whatever it is, when I heard about it, I got my popcorn out, and I don't even eat popcorn. Nothing like watching old friends fight when none of them were your friend. The Trump budget, though, is a real concern. And let me be real clear. The CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, has analyzed this bill. And the CBO is nonpartisan now. Congressional Budget Office. It projects that this beautiful bill, that even Elon Musk now is calling an abomination, that it will bring us to $2.4 trillion debt increase and 10.9 million more uninsured. This is what it will lead to. This is the CBO saying. Nonpartisan, non-connected CBO, Congressional Budget Office. It says this GOP-backed bill would add $2.4 trillion to the national debt over 10 years, and mainly, this I want to stress, mainly due to the $3.7 trillion in lost revenue and only $1.3 trillion in spending cuts. It would also leave nearly 11 million more Americans uninsured by 2034 due to Medicaid and ACA reductions. Now, for those that said voting for Trump don't matter or not going to vote don't matter, when they raised this debt by $2.4 trillion, it's at $36 trillion now, and they cut Medicaid and they cut SNAP, and you have people, your loved ones, my loved ones, and maybe you, that can't get SNAP, that has your Medicaid canceled or altered. I mean, when do you wake up and say, maybe I judged this wrong? Let's talk about all of this. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. It's Black Music Month. Got a different question for you today. Tell me the top 3 black music artists, in your opinion, in black music history in this United States. Could be a band leader, could be a rapper, could be a singer, could be an opera singer, could be a gospel singer. If you were writing the list, who would be the top 3 that you would say in black music history? Doesn't mean it ends there, but I just want the top of your list. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the 2 most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you are born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, "The two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born." I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Don't forget, you really don't want to miss Politics Nation with Al Sharpton this weekend. This budget is falling apart, this so-called big, beautiful bill. Republicans are starting to come out publicly saying that there must be changes. If he loses 3 votes, he being Trump, if he loses 3 in the Senate, the bill doesn't pass, then where does it go? I'll have the people on. You that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We're there from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And you that are not in the New York area can watch it live on Impact Television, the only national black-owned gospel network in the country. We're on there, tune in 9 to 11, or you can go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and watch it on our live stream. All right, we've got the whole question of Elon Musk now attacking Trump and his big ugly bill, calling it abominable. We have the negotiations around how the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, is saying that this bill will cost a $2.4 trillion debt. And we have the whole question of ICE just coming down heavily, grabbing people and deporting them. And it's Black Music Month. I want you to give me not your top 3 that are out there now. I'm talking about your top 3 artists of any kind in Black music history. What would that list be like? If you was writing it, what would you say? All right, let's go to the phones. Let's start in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WURD with Ken. Ken, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Sir, the good Reverend, all of y'all is speaking today. Excellent. Nina Simone, I'm a slightly older guy, but she was the top Black musician, singer she was. And she did some things like you would not have even believed. People don't even sing about the things that she was singing about at the time, back in her lifetime. And I'm hoping, I haven't heard about it, but I'm hoping that people still know about her. Nina Simone is really the thing. On the political side, anybody who voted for this guy Trump, you should go out, and if you're a church person, you should start praying, because these folk that are handling Trump, they are not playing. And by the time, if these guys get what I think they're going to do, the United States is going to be broke by the time, and it's already getting there with these tariffs going on, and you'll be paying something like about 3 times as much if you're doing rent. Within about 6 years, if this guy is still in office, because he wants a 3rd term, folk, he said he did. So let's be clear about what we know, and let's be clear about what we're hearing. This guy is a statutory racist, and I don't think we've ever seen anything short of him since the Civil War. I do thank you much, sir.
All right, thank you for your call and your observations. O.G. Kelly on our message page on our live stream says, my top 3 artists, I asked for 3 in history. His top 3 are Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. All right. Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. Well, that's your top 3 OG. Now, I knew all of them. I knew Michael the best, but I knew Luther, and I met several times Marvin Gaye, and I've seen their shows, and they were fantastic, and I've heard their music. But that's your top 3, okay. Tanaqua, I hope I'm saying it right, Tanaqua Wimberly. Her top 3 is Tina Turner, James Brown, and Michael Jackson. Her top 3 in history, music, black music history. All right, let's go to John Spencer in Little Mountain, South Carolina on the phones. John Spencer.
Hello, Reverend Al. I haven't talked to you in a while because I'm a community person, but I'm going to give you the 3 singers that I know for a fact because I'm 82 years old. Luther Vandross, Smokey Robinson, and James Brown. But let me just make sure I say something else that I heard that I think after the midterms that's going to come to be. It's going to do a reshock to America. Obama made a statement about a month ago, 2 months ago, to the Democratic Party. He told them, if y'all need me, I'll run again. When I heard that, I thought that was so unusual, but I kept it in my throat. Now I'm picking up what might happen is the fact Michelle Obama in 2018 will be running for president, and Harris will be her vice president. But guess what? The catch, Obama is the prize that everybody will get. He will be the first gentleman. And guess what? It's going to reshock America. I just thought I'd tell you.
Yes, you can definitely. Let me ask you this, John. Do you think that people that supported Trump realize the damage that they've done? I mean, you know, it sounds big figures, 2.4 trillion over 10 years, but do people understand if they cancel Medicaid and parts of it and SNAP, that you're literally talking about people starving, not being able to do elementary thing like feed their family? Do you think people where you are in Little Mountain, South Carolina, understand what's at stake here?
Well, Reverend, they understand it now. See, at one point, here was what was the issue, was white people gaining popularity enough to have more children. If you notice, there's some type of a line somewhere that there's $5,000 given to women that have more kids. Plus, what Trump did, he went over in Kenya and brought white Africans here. The whole thing is to stabilize the white race to where they won't lose. But in the same present, what he's doing is removing all the other stuff that eliminates other races of people and healthy birthright actions. See, you have to give it to Trump. He's a reverse fundo. He's a human fundo to where everything on that big end is put in on the small end. It's set for him to get it. Nobody else get it.
All right, let me take my break. I'll be right back. More of you on the phones and on the message board. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
announcers, the church people, and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God doesn't smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say real song. I say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. I feel it. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me. Now then, the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. And that has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smiled on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on me. We need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Clay Powell said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care children just have wheels, and I can still hear somewhere in the
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go on live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net and put something on the message board. Like Barbara Jean just hit me, said good afternoon, good Wednesday afternoon, greetings from Chicago, and I'm glad Chicago's in the house. Let's go back to the phone. Let me go to D. Lewis in Queens, New York. D. Lewis, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hello, Reverend Sharpton.
Hello.
Thank you for taking my call. I issued on your platform, the Crises on Your Man platform, a couple of weeks ago regarding an issue here with guidelines of child abuse and how they're handled in New York City area, and the roadblocks that are going on, which is abysmal. The runaround that my family has experienced for 2 years now, where the child has been put in harm's way while visiting the other parent. And they seem to don't address the issue. They seem to just, push the envelope to each agency and say, that agency not doing anything, why should we do anything? And this has been going on, and it's still going on. And
now this is on the your post is on the child abuse regulations or of a specific case.
The regulations, because we were told they have no child abuse regulations in New York and how to handle child abuse, especially a specific age group. The child that I'm speaking of is a young child, but then I find out there's other children also given this kind of egregious treatment through the system. It's been going on, they said, for quite some time, and this case that we're dealing with is not the only case. Where there's
and you're saying that the child is abused and that they're saying there's no regulations that they could move the child from one location to another, that there's a lot of red tape. I'm trying to understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, there's been, the mother is dealing with things in court. The court is not seeing the picture. The court is actually dealing with something that they feel that they don't see any cause for concern, even though there have been numerous reports of the child coming back and indicating the person is harmed. They're saying, they don't see any safety concerns, and these are through the various agencies.
The child is saying they've been harmed.
Yes, the child has reported to several people that she's being harmed, and they feel that that is not significant enough because she's too young.
All right. Hold on a minute. I got it now. I got it. Get her number direct to me, because I just wanted to see if this was something we could get into, but it sounds like we can. So get her number to me. Thank you for your call, D. Lewis. They'll get your number to me. I have somebody on this today. Let's go to Dr. Curtis Daniels in Ohio. Dr. Curtis Daniels in Ohio.
I just lost it.
All right, we lost Dr. Daniels. All right, let me go to Ron in California. Ron.
Yes, sir, Reverend. I called before about the Make America Healthy Again from the White House, where they committed in that statement that there was corruption in the government agencies being basically controlled and put by the corporations that manufacture the food and the toxins. And I thought that at least 5 decades with student service, that we looked at the toxins in the food, and now the government from the White House is saying that there's been corruption. How do we hold them to that, where we can open it up, because the population is contaminated because everybody eats food, but the fast foods are more inclined in the poverty areas. And they have a causation factor for diabetes. And of course, the obesity is one of the factors with the fatty tissues. My concern is, where can we really focus on the transgenerational, from mother who's been contaminated with these toxins because she's in her family, but she, in birthing, has a transgenerational effect that triggers disease amongst the newborn that may be hidden for a while, but we are actually polluting the next generation, the yet to be born and those newborn. How do we focus on that issue?
So, all right, I'm trying to grab a hold and make sure I have your point right. You want to know how we can, I guess, legislatively enforce where you do not pass on toxins from a parent to a child? Is that the question?
Well, that basically is the question, because that's the issue. If we're contaminating the population, we're contaminating mothers, and mothers are birthing babies with preconditions to disease and cancers. How do we stop that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. No, I got it now. One, that's a good question that I don't know there's an easy answer to. I think it's a question that needs to be raised. And it's going to take some research to see to what degree do parents, particularly mothers, since children come out the womb of a mother, pass these toxins on. And then is the answer that people change their diet? Is the answer that we regulate the toxins in food? I mean, this is a big question, but it's one that's unavoidable because it affects all of our lives. So I'm not minimizing the importance of it. I'm just talking about how we get our arms wrapped around it.
That was my question to pose. How do we do that? It's so big, but if we stay on it, we'll get the public attention. The public attention might bring something around. We're in the most important time in the evolution of our country and the evolution of our population to be able to get the facts out. And since the government, White House, put this statement out about the basic corruption and exposing it, that one section about, in foods, the toxins, I think the opportunity is now, and you're one of the people in the world who can bring that opportunity forward.
Well, I certainly want to use my platform to make it an issue because it is one that needs to be dealt with. I appreciate the call. Thank you for the call. Let's go to Reverend Daniel J. in New Jersey. Reverend Daniel J.
Good day, sir. It's Danielle, Reverend Danielle.
Danielle, okay. My apologies.
Yes, sir.
Right.
No, that's quite all right. Reverend Al, I just want to say thank you for all you have been to all of us and all that you do and all that you will continue to do. I pray your strength in the Lord.
Please.
I wanted to put Aretha Franklin's name in the mix, but I'm surprised nobody ain't said nothing about Riri. I love me some Riri. So Riri, Nina Simone, and I'll give away the third one. I don't know, but I wanted to say
all right, so of your three, your top two would be Aretha Franklin and Nina Simone.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Now,
that's it.
I knew Aretha very well, spoke at a funeral.
I know
and
you did.
Every time, I work out every morning, and the last thing I do on the bike, I play Aretha Franklin, climbing up higher mountains, trying to get home. That's how I start my day. I start my day with Aretha. Yep, that's right.
She with James Cleveland.
You got it live in the church, and she had started, got to the second verse, and stopped and made it start over. You got it.
That's it. Well, I thank you, and I just wanted to also say it was Fannie Lou Hamer that said either we all are free or none of us are going to get free. So when Trump turned the whole nation on trans people on day one in office, I didn't like that very much, and we got to stop allowing folks to divide us. We got to get the young generation and our LGBT community. Happy Pride Month. I know who you are and all that you've been to all of us. So I just wanted to say that too.
I
Thank
really
you so much,
appreciate
Reverend.
your call. Thank you for your comment. Let me go to Sandra H. in Orlando. Sandra H. in Orlando, Florida.
Hello, Reverend Al Sharpton. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. I have a topic that I really want you to put some fire under. I'm the founder of Reach Back Foundation, Inc., and we are a mobile food pantry and do a lot in the community. Several years ago, I purchased a foreclosed home, and I did research and found out that there's a lot of fraud stemming from David Stern, the foreclosure king out of South Florida that did a lot of fraudulent documents, and Wells Fargo. I have everything documented. But I'm at the end of my case with the bank and the attorneys. I have discovered that when the judge did the final judgment, the company that the bank was representing had been sold a year and a half before for $160 million. Therefore, the final judgment is voided. Therefore, there was no standing. Therefore, the bank didn't have the right or legal ground to even do the foreclosure. So I really need your support on this, bringing some light on this, putting some pressure on this judge to get this case dismissed with prejudice so that I can go on and do what God has called me to do. There's a lot of people that don't research when they're going through a foreclosure. It's not my personal foreclosure because I bought the home that was already in foreclosure, but people don't research. People need to watch the movie 99 Homes.
Yeah.
That show you one aspect of the fraud that they've been doing, and that was based out of Orlando as well. But I'm showing the other side where the judge and the bank attorney are friends. I have the attorney general documents where they investigated Wells Fargo. They were hiring people from McDonald's and daycares, giving them the title of assignment VP so they can do assignment of mortgages with no doing $250 a day.
Wow.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on. I even have the depositions from David Stern in the fraud that they have committed.
All right. Thank you for the information. You need to get some and see what we can together. Let me take my break. Be right back. More of you on the phones. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Put it on the message board at live stream. Let's take our break. Be right back. What numbers are we up to now? I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones. And too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about it is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advise the youth on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. Stop going through your life like you are a co-star or a bit player in your own drama. No, you are the main star. You're the central figure in your life. What you decide is what is the major thrust of your life. And others may contribute, impact, affect, but it's your life that you're central in. So stop trying to lay the weight of what you do or don't do on others. That weight is squarely on your shoulders and in your hand. And if you want to defer and give your life choices to others, that's on you. If they have any sense at all, they will be so busy trying to conduct and properly guide their life, they will not have time to try to major in your life.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of Action Network for always in the month he was killed. To let them know they killed the dreamer.
Because I have a dream today.
When they came for the dream. That's when Haile Selassie, the Emperor of Ethiopia, came here, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., who was pastor here now, at Ethiopian Coptic Cross. That was my first hero when Civil Rights and Politics.
As I know here, you're in trouble, where it says about 30% are unemployed. That's why I'm working hard to get this surplus food here. Some of you say to me, well, I'm not like you. I'm not a congressman. I haven't got education. I haven't got work. But you're a human being. And you know what you've got? You've got in your hand the power to use your vote and to use even those few cents you get from welfare to spend them only where you want to spend them.
Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go on live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net and send me a message on the message board. And I think we're getting a lot of callers, a lot of people. We're talking today about what the tariffs may mean, what this big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump calls it, that others are saying it's a big, ugly bill. Elon Musk and him has now broke up very publicly, and I might say very nasty. Musk calling Trump's bill an abomination. The CBO, Congressional Budget Office, said it will add $2.4 trillion over the next 10 years. And they're talking about taking money out of Medicaid and SNAP in order to pay for it, while they give tax cut to the rich, the super rich, and the uber rich. So we want your comments on both. You can call in or go on the message board. Also, we're talking today about it is Black Music History Month, all of June, and we are asking you, what are your top 3 artists in Black music history? We had a few in the first hour that was interesting, and I think it'd be interesting to hear even more. Let me all of you that are online or in either on the message page or on the phones, let me also urge you to really understand the times in which we're in. And that's why I urge you every hour to watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. I put a lot of time. Yes, I am doing National Action Network day and night every day, but I put a lot of time in making sure that we have the right guests with the right positions of power and understanding of the issues to bring it to you in a way that all of us could understand. And I really, really want you to make it a habit to tell people, and you yourself, watch it every Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You get people there to watch it, I'll keep them there. 5 p.m. Eastern Time, national on MSNBC, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, you in the New York area, New Jersey area, Connecticut area, you really owe it to yourself to come down to a Saturday Action rally or come up, it's depending on where you're coming from. I'm there every Saturday. I'll be there this Saturday at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. You have the rest of your day to do whatever it is you do, but we start Saturday morning up dealing with inspiration and information. Come and be with me. You also can watch it live. You that are not in the tri-state area, you can watch it live on Impact Television, the only nationally black-owned gospel network. And, of course, you can also watch it at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We also are signing people up. Hundreds have already signed, saying, I'm going to help spread the word. I just need the message. And we send it to them every Friday on what to say to get people to join the big march on August 28th. It will be the anniversary of the March on Washington of 63. But this time we're not going to Washington, as we have commemorated many years since then. We're going to Wall Street. Why are we going to Wall Street? Because, as the bank robber said, that's where the money is. That's why he went to the bank. The money's on Wall Street. And those that control industry, the captains of industry, of trade, need to see thousands of us, disciplined but determined, say that you must stop turning back the clock on our voting rights, on DEI, on SNAP, on cutting into our Medicaid. We need from our community this kind of testimony. We're going to start at the African Burial Grounds and march to the center of Wall Street and make that statement. You that want to help organize and mobilize know what to say. Sign up right now at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. I saw the young lady in the street the other day. She said, I've been meaning to call to sign up. That's what I'm telling you. Do it while I'm talking, because you'll forget about it. And it's important you get these messages. All right, let's go back to the phones, 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to David in California. David, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Oh, thanks, Rev. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that big bad budget, but before I did, you were asking about music. I'm a big fan of, I don't know if you remember, Minnie Riperton was in a band called Rotary Connection, and they did an album called Aladdin. And man, that is, I never hear it get airplay, but it is just dynamite. And a song
Minnie
that I would love to hear.
Riperton had a phenomenal voice. She could go up, hit octaves that didn't even seem human.
That's right. Yeah, and unfortunately, she died early. So, yeah, we didn't get the full use of her artistics. But let's see, "Get Up Moses" is a song I'm kind of surprised you don't use it as a bumper. That "Get Up Moses" from Roberta Flack, it's such a powerful and inspiring piece, and it really fits with today.
Yeah.
Where
we need to pull that up. Go Down Moses. Roberta Flack. I
Get
just
up.
did the eulogy at her funeral. I knew Roberta for 35 years, and you're right. And she sings it with such power that you could tell the intensity in her voice. Yeah, let's pull that up. We're going to use that. Go ahead.
It's "Get Up Moses."
Yeah, "Get Up Moses." "Go Down Moses," the old thing. No, "Get Up Moses" is what Roberta did. He's correct.
Right. Now, I've called in the past and talked about Jubilee. And, Jubilee was a law of Moses, where after a point, when you realize that a disaster happens and that the money is not helping, you have to abandon the money and just hunker down to saving your life. And when Donald Trump and his con artists, here's Donald Trump has sworn an oath to the Constitution to be loyal to America, but by creating his own Dogecoin, his Bitcoins, his cyber currency, he's not loyal to the U.S. dollar. And in fact, the way he sells his coins is by claiming that the U.S. dollar is going to collapse and you better come over to his kind of money. Well, that's treason to me. And when these guys are going to play a shell game, you remember when just before inauguration, it was actually before the turn of the year, Donald Trump is going around saying he's going to take American gold and use it to buy Bitcoin. And then when he does that, he's going to balance the American budget. Well, you being in New York, you've seen the shell game down on the corner, where they put the P under. So he's going to play a shell game with the value of America and then demand that we go over to his cyber currency. And like I say, he's saying that the U.S. dollar is going to collapse, so you might as well go to his phony money. So this is just pure Jubilee opportunity. And, I've as I've researched Jubilee, there's 4 or 5 different definitions. One had to do with freeing slaves. Another one has to do with letting the farmland go fallow. The monarchists are trying to claim the Jubilee year is something wonderful. That's when you're stuck with a king for too long. And, so just this opportunity to, money used to be a representation of your reputation. That if you're a good cobbler, if you're a good baker, if you're a good talk show host, your reputation is going to get you value. But these con artists have figured out a way to take the value of everybody else and either steal it for themselves, by stealing the accounts of electronic money or revaluing the currencies. This has gone on for centuries, where the value of life itself is put on the line for somebody's demand to obey their phony version of money.
Interesting. I think you raised some excellent points, and I appreciate your call. I really appreciate you reminding me of "Go Up Moses" by my dear friend Roberta Flack. All right, let me go to Ruth in Georgia. WAOK. Ruth.
Let's take a break, sir. Let's take a break.
Ruth, wait a minute. Let me take my break so you have time to say what you need to say. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You've got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your area. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day.
Did you hear about what happened in Minneapolis? I said I saw it on television. It was in the middle of a pandemic. We were all locked down, couldn't go anywhere. And just watched the news over and over again. And he said the family would like to speak with him. He connected Philonis Floyd and one of George's brothers, carrying on with Keepin and other members, Victoria, all of the families, many of the family members. And he said they'd like you to go to Minneapolis and protest what happened, and also say that we are not a family that condone violence, because some people were burning stuff down. In the middle of a pandemic, it's important that you know that people from all over, Black America, white America, all people came together to stand with this family. But I promised them that we would be there to the end. 5 years later, some people are missing, but I had to be here. And I'll be here as long as it takes to be justice. This week, we saw some change over the years. We did not get the George Floyd justice bill, but we got consent decree in Minneapolis, where he was killed, and in Louisville, Kentucky, where Breonna Taylor was killed. This week, the Department of Justice under Donald Trump said they were going to end this consent decree, which is tantamount to the Department of Justice and the President spitting on the grave. To wait to the anniversary and announce this, knowing this family was going to be brought back to the brokenheartedness of what happened, shows the disregard and insensitivity.
that things are wrong. Deaf man hears some funny changes. Boss man hears the people's song. Coats his lies and rearranges. Ain't no love and ain't no hate. Only dollars got the weight. Lift your head and pass the plate. This time just don't pay the freight. Am I clear? This morning, y'all. 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 You've been down too long. You've been down too long. You've been down too long. My people, let Pharaoh go. You don't need him. You don't need his tricks. You don't need his trinkets. Let Pharaoh go. Pharaoh doesn't want you, but he needs you. My people, let Pharaoh go. Without you, there is no Pharaoh. So all you have to do to let him go is let him go. Just wake up tomorrow morning and say, bye, Pharaoh. Honey, you've been down too long. 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 Am I clear? Am I clear? Am I clear?
Stop going through your life like you are a co-star or a bit player in your own drama. No, you are the main star. You're the central figure in your life. What you decide is what is the major thrust of your life. And others may contribute. From the Dallas, Texas to Leon. Leon.
Good afternoon, Reverend Al.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, your musical artist. Let's talk about. Let's see. Marvin Gaye used to say, "War, what is it good for?"
Yep.
make me want to holler, throw up my hands.
Yep.
Stevie Wonder would say, living for the city.
Yep.
And the last poets would say, the revolution will not be televised.
Yep.
And the reason I picked those three is because they were socially conscious.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were young, we listened to those, and those songs kept us socially conscious.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike today, when the songs teach you how to call each other N-word, B-word, all these other H-words. And the reason I know what these young people are saying because I used to coach.
Mm.
And when those songs come on during the games, they know every word.
Is that
every
right?
profane
So
word.
they can quote the words verbatim.
Verbatim. And if we could get them to do math, English, educational constructs using that same intellectual capability, there's no telling how far they could go. So that music has an influence on what's going on with what they're thinking. When you leave wherever the song was, you still hear the song playing in your head. Well,
Exactly.
Same thing goes for young people.
No, I shared, and I'm going to let you finish, but I shared with the audience yesterday how James Brown, the last conversation we had, he asked me, why were we letting the music using those lyrics? Because the lyrics he and Aretha and Marvin Gaye and others had used is what brought us through our childhood. So you're right in line with what I believe and what I was told by one of the greatest artists of all time, James Brown. But go ahead, Leon.
Oh, yes. And if you around young people, particularly when they're in high school and they're getting ready to go out into the world as adult individuals, and you hear how they interact, you can feel the influence of the hip-hop music on the way they think. Now, you're talking about the beautiful bill and all this other stuff, and and all this stuff. When I heard Trump, when I saw Trump retweet something that said that Biden was assassinated 4 years ago and it's a clone that's been in office, well, the first thing comes to my mind, man, this guy started raving mad.
Yeah.
How can...
He's not well.
But this man has the most powerful position in the world, and nobody seems like they want to question his ability, his stability mentally to run the country.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk, his own buddy, got on him and said, "Well, wait a minute. This is exact opposite of what you thought I thought you brought me in to do." But it's still moving forward, because if it wasn't for people like you, Reverend Allen, what you're trying to do, who else is pushing back on him as far as what's this guy doing? And
let me say this, and obviously you're gonna finish, but when you have a man that retweets that Biden was killed and it's been a clone that was in office 1 minute, and the next minute question the acuity of Biden, saying he was too old. I mean, this is a man whose mind ain't right. Which side of this do you believe? Do you believe he was old and had his acuity questions? Or do you believe it wasn't him in there? I mean, you can't have it both ways. It shows you how sick this man is. And when you have somebody like Elon Musk, who I disagree with on many issues, who poured tens of millions of dollars in to get him elected, and Elon Musk is saying this is abominable, you can't ignore that.
No. And how can I put this? The people that voted for him, right? He told lies and said it was racism, but his opponent told the truth and didn't mention that.
Wow.
So you have people who voted for him even though he said all this stuff that was racist. And now when he gets in office, everything he told them was a lie. He hasn't fixed the economy. He hasn't fixed the war in Russia. Gaza is still going on. Nothing he's done except for making himself richer
Right.
Is what's going on. But yet, and I hate to offend people, but white people are going to have to stop being used by racism.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Once they pull that race card and holler race, they run, and then they stop analyzing what's really going on. And then after he's in office, he says, I don't care anything about you. All I'm interested in is myself. I just used you because I knew you were gullible enough and uneducated enough and naive enough to think that that was the real way to fix things by pulling a race card. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got manipulated. And now, when their Social Security or their Medicaid or their SNAP gets cut, they're going to be crying. But y'all put him in office because y'all believe the guy who was telling you the wrong thing as opposed to a person who was trying to do it the right way.
Absolutely, Leon. I appreciate your call. Looking forward to when I come through Dallas. Let me go to Pennsylvania to Patricia. Patricia.
Hi, Reverend.
Hi.
Hi, Reverend. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Thank you so much for accepting my call. I'm going to try not to cry, but I'm having a time of it. I just want to know if you're able to do anything, and if you've had children in your life, or even if you didn't, you would understand, how do you tell your kid that's about to be let go from Job Corps, not because of their action, but because of the pen stroke of somebody that's operating out of D.C.?
Yeah, well, I've been on this the last few days, talking to members of Congress about how do we save Job Corps, because you're right, these are children that need it. This is not something that is optional. You are in many communities that without Job Corps, there is no entry point for them to do constructive things. And I'm really on it. I do not have a solid answer, but I am going to stay on it. And I do think there's some members of Congress that are trying to use this opening in renegotiating the budget to try and also deal with this question of Job Corps. One of the things that I think is interesting is with Elon Musk and others coming out against the budget, it opens up the debate. And we can now, with the debate open, try to put some priorities in. So, I wish I had a solid answer, but don't give up.
What I would say to you, I just want this whole entire audience to know, it's not even about just the students. It's not about just the staff. It's also going to affect everybody's local communities. It's so wide ranging, and the thing of it is, they're saying nobody wants to go to college anymore. A college degree, they're trying to say is really not worth it. They'd rather have somebody that has a trade degree. Well, that is what Job Corps is based on. So why would you ever shut down a 6-year program that is trades-based? And that is what we're asking for in our markets right now. Why?
That's exactly right.
That is my question.
I got it. Thank you for your call. Let's take a break, and we'll be back. More of you on the phones and on the message page. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Go down.
Thank you. In 1972, when Shirley Chisholm ran for president, part of why she ran was to protest the war in Vietnam. In her memory, we can protest what's going on now around the world and say that if Shirley Chisholm was alive, she would not tell you to be quiet. She would tell you to stand up for what is right. From Haiti to Ukraine to Gaza, wherever there's wrong, you should stand up and fight. I met Shirley Chisholm when I was a teenager. I became part of her campaign in 1972. When she graduated this school in 46, blacks in the South were still having to ride in the back of the bus. When she graduated in 46, women around the country had no rights over the decisions of their bodies. It was because people like Shirley Chisholm stood up and fought back that blacks went all the way to the White House and women got the right to choose. In her memory, we must keep those fights alive. There are those forces today that want to turn back the clock. They can turn back the clock, but they can't turn back time. We will never go back to the back of the bus. We will never lose the right to choose. We will never bend a buckle or bow. In the name of Shirley Chisholm, keep your voices loud, keep your heads up and your back strong, and stand up for your rights.
What a beautiful tribute, Reverend Sharpton, thank you. It's also my honor right now to recognize the Reverend Al Sharpton himself, an extraordinary leader with a lifelong commitment to justice, equality, and civil rights. Reverend Sharpton stands against all forms of hate and has become a champion of open and respectful dialogue in a society often divided by rhetoric and misunderstanding. Throughout his remarkable career, Sharpton has worked to confront injustice and amplify the voices of the marginalized. From his early days organizing grassroots movements to becoming a prominent national figure, he has consistently used his platform to advocate for equal rights. Like many leaders who have been in the spotlight for decades, Reverend Sharpton has evolved over time. A key aspect of this evolution has come from listening and understanding diverse perspectives. Over the years, he has emphasized the importance of hearing others' voices with empathy and respect, especially those of goodwill with different opinions than his. This empathetic approach has allowed him to forge meaningful dialogues, build bridges between divides, and work towards solutions grounded in mutual understanding and respect. We are grateful for his commitment to constructive dialogue across difference. Today, Reverend Sharpton's influence continues to resonate, and he is recognized as one of the most prominent heirs to Shirley Chisholm's legacy, an honored Brooklyn native who has dedicated his life to carrying the mantle forward, pushing our society rooted in fairness and dignity and compassion. It's my privilege to present the Reverend Al Sharpton with this award in recognition of his leadership and profound commitment to justice. May his work inspire us to listen with empathy, act with integrity, and build a more just and compassionate world.
Let me say this. Thank you for this award. I went to Brooklyn College. When I went to Brooklyn College, I was living in Brownsville with my mother. My mother came from the Deep South. She never made it out of junior high school because of segregation. I was the first one in my family to go to college. I had some complex about being on welfare, going to shop with food stamps, going to Brooklyn College. But my mother told me life is not about where you come from. Life is about where you're going. And she said when I graduated Tilden High School, when they call your name, keep your head high. Don't worry about your poverty, worry about your future. And I want to say to the graduates today, when you come across this stage and they call your name, don't worry about your circumstance. Worry about you stood in this school and made them call your name. Make make this the first day of your life that you make everybody that you deal with call your name. I don't care how poor you are, make them call your name. I don't care how black you are or white you are or Jewish you are or Muslim you are, make them call your name. You've proven today you are not somebody to be overlooked and somebody to be looked down on. You make them the rest of your life call your name. Stand up for something. Stand up and be what you dream of being. Thank you and God bless you.
Did you hear about what happened in Minneapolis? I said I saw it on television. It was in the middle of a pandemic. We were all locked down, couldn't go anywhere. And just watched the news over and over again. And he said the family would like to speak with him. He connected Philonise Floyd and one of George's brothers carrying on with Keepin and other members, all of the families, many of the families. And he said they'd like you to go to Minneapolis and protest what happened and also say that we are not a family that condone violence, but some people were burning stuff down. In the middle of a pandemic, it's important that you know that people from all over, Black America, white
Sharpton, a lot of people on the message board. David Gray said yes. The Berta Flack song was Go Up Moses. Am I clear this evening, y'all? That was on her Quiet Fire album, I believe around 70, 71, somewhere in there when I first got to know her. And she was in the movement then. Let's go to Georgia, WAOK, to Ruth. Ruth, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hello, Reverend Sharpton. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How you doing, Ruth?
I'm doing just fine, thank the Lord. The Lord gave me something to give to you, and he said, this is you. And it came from him. He said, love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not jealous or boastful. It is not arrogant or rude. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It is not rejoice at wrong, but rejoice in the right. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love is patient heart. Love never ends.
I love that.
This is you.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
It does. When I looked at this, excuse me, it was given to me by one of my sisters years ago. And I was cleaning, and the Lord I said, what? I forgot I putting this up. And the Lord had me to look at it. And he says, give this to Reverend Sharpton.
Well, you get that to me. Please get it to me. And I'd put it right with my blessed robe. I thank you for your prayers and what you do. Please get it to me. Thank you, Ruth. Let me go to let me read some of my some of my messages on message board. Tricia says, how do we put the guardrails back on our democracy? We see how fragile it is, and the checks and balances are hanging by a thread. I think that she is absolutely right. And I think that's why these elections are so important. I know that sounds like, that's something everybody say, but we really need to put people in office that will come down on enforcing the laws and the government makeup of checks and balances. Right now you have a legislature, a legislative branch, I'll put it that way, that has completely conceded to the executive branch and a judicial branch that has conceded. So where you had the form of government that was proposed of checks and balances, the executive branch checked by the legislative branch, checked by the judicial branch, Supreme Court on down, has been eradicated by this political phenomenon of Donald Trump. And I think while you now have an opening, it's an opportunity to, with Elon Musk flipping. And then, and let me tell you the reason why Musk flipping is more than just two guys mad at each other. Musk put hundreds of millions of dollars behind Trump taking the country back and behind them getting several members of the Senate and the Congress elected. If that money is withdrawn this year, where you have governors and in some cities, mayors like my city, New York, if that money is no longer available to Trump, it evens the playing field to get in people that can start the process of reestablishing those boundaries, reestablishing democracy, protecting our right to vote, and other things. So I absolutely hope, if nothing else, if Musk stay mad enough not to put millions of dollars in, it hurts their efforts. And I think that even beyond that, he may finance some Republicans to give primaries against other Republicans, which tears up their party. I just believe if we can get through the next couple of months and organize, that this can be turned around. I've never seen anywhere in history where the righteous cannot prevail if they don't lose the faith. And that's my faith. Let's go to Ozzy in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Buzz. Ozzy.
Yes, Bishop. To go along with what you just said, sometimes a generation has to be removed in order for there to be an advancement made.
Yep.
And what I'm talking about is the millennials who have decided to be on the same side as the Ku Klux Klan and the Nazis because they don't know no better. And so, but I also wanted to give Marvin Gaye, "Where Are We Going?" People, listen to that song. Aretha Franklin, she spoke for black women. And of course, our main man, James Brown, spoke for black people. Say it loud. Now, I also want to just say that what you were just touching on, Elon, you can't fool us again.
Right.
You want to show us that you mean what you say, then put up your money and get this clown deported, him and his family. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That's talking out of anger. But get him out of office. And don't let Vance take his place. And
yeah, well, we
remove
definitely
Johnson,
can't.
You got the funds.
I don't know that we can deport him, but we can sure get him out. Thank you for your call, Ozzy, and I understand the anger. Lynn in Detroit, Michigan. Lynn. Yes.
I love you. I pray for you. I really do. And thank you for taking my...
Tell her to talk into the phone. She's
You got to talk on the phone. We can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me better?
Yes.
Oh, Reverend Sharpton, I want to add something to your list of the March on Wall Street. Reverend Sharpton, we have to go after these insurance companies. Reverend Sharpton, do you still Google? I know sometimes you would Google online.
Right.
If you can Google blacks in Brooklyn pay thousands more for auto insurance every year. Yes, you'll see a lot on that. Black drivers in Brooklyn pay thousands more a year. And Reverend Sharpton, the reason I call about that, usually I'm calling about Detroit. Because actually in Detroit, we pay more than they pay in Brooklyn. These studies are done by the Consumer Federation of America. They've been tracking this for years. But Reverend Sharpton, this goes on all across America, and they do have studies proving that. And so if we're paying thousands more every year just to drive, we can't get anywhere. That is keeping us in poverty. And Reverend Sharpton, here's the way to fight this, and no one is doing this. There is something called the loss premium ratio. That is the only thing you need to fight it because it proves where the redlining is. If you compare the loss premium ratio of different territories, you will see by the comparison that there is significant redlining. And these are actual numbers. You can't listen to the insurance companies saying, oh, there are a lot of thefts here, or it's a lot of traffic, and these are condensed areas. That's what they do now, but they never give the actual numbers, the actual figures. And they do, this is an insurance company number. It's like going into their financial statements, for example. It's like really getting down to the actual numbers. So they need to prove that they're not redlining. And we will never get ahead as Black people when everything, and the Consumer Federation has this information, every single major Black city in this country pays significantly more for auto insurance than corresponding, and they compare it, than corresponding white cities. And we pay more by thousands of dollars every year. We have to go after this redlining. We have to go after this.
I just Googled it, and I just sent a note to Al Washington to get me all of the insurance I need to make that part of the march on right land. That issue up more public than we knew we were not focusing on. There has to be a focus on the Wall Street March. Let me take right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say this song. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Get up. Backstage at the Apollo Theater, and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song, and I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me. Now then, the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. That has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smiled on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on me. We need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Great Power said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way. If you just keep the faith and refuse to lose, and God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just real, and I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown say, God had smiled on me. He had set me free. Let me sing here. Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord.
Stop going through your life like you are a co-star or a bit player in your own drama. No, you are the main star. You're the central figure in your life. What you decide is what is the major thrust of your life. And others may contribute, impact, affect, but it's your life that you're central in. So stop trying to lay the weight of what you do or don't do on others. That weight is squarely on your shoulders and in your hand. And if you want to defer and give your life choices to others, that's on you. If they have any sense at all, they will be so busy trying to conduct and properly guide their life, they will not have time to try to major in your life.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
Started the historically black colleges and universities to the tune of about $13 billion, and Tennessee State was the one they shorted the most.
Absolutely. Well, let me know. I'm on the next plane as soon as you holler. You know, when Ben Crump called, I don't even question it. I just head to the airport and get the details on the way.
Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. Keeping it real. And now, America's #1 civil rights leader, the Reverend Al.
You're live.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. And on the message page, I see several. Let me read a couple of them, and I'm going back to the phones at 1-877-532-5797. Cassandra D says, my favorite artists are Gladys Knight, Levi Stubbs, and Frankie Beverly. That's 3 great ones, no doubt about it. Tanya Stovall says, I agree with Frederick, and Frederick says, I hope the senators don't cave to Trump like Congress did. Yeah, well, we can all hope on that, but we need to do more than hope. We need to get on the phones, ringing up our senators' offices, saying that we want you to stop this bill. We need to light them up. Believe me, I've been in enough Senate offices that they keep count. The senators say, are we getting any calls, pro or con? We getting any emails? Do some work on this. It really is right. Tanya Stovall saying let the bill die in the Senate, and it must die in the Senate, and we must be the ones to set the climate for it to die. Gail Friend says Ella Fitzgerald, Aretha Franklin, Betty Carter, Nina Simone, Louis Armstrong, Sidney Beckett, and Charlie Parker, etc. These are all greats in history. You gave us a great list there, Gail. Can't deny that. Let's go to Pastor Curtis in Ohio. Pastor Curtis.
Hello, yes, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
This is Pastor Curtis Daniel calling from the city of Elyria, Ohio, pastor of the Macedonia Church of God in Christ. I want you to
I
know.
come out of the Church of God in Christ.
Yes, yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, yes. Certainly, you are a pace setter. You are certainly a voice for all of us, and I want you to know I really appreciate what you do. I'm also a radio announcer with WNZN in the city of Lorain, Ohio. We have a talk show. It's called PowerPoint Talk Show on Saturday morning. And, of course, Idella White is the host of the show, and I'm her co-host.
All right.
And we always refer to you all the time on our show. And I'm just elated to be able to talk with you. And I want you to know that as far as music, black gospel or black music artists, Dr. Mattie Moss Clark is number one.
You went home there for me.
Yes, absolutely. She took me in under her wing officially in 1983, and I currently serve as a national musician in the Church of God in Christ organist.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Well, we honored Bishop Sheard this year at our convention,
Absolutely.
and he works with us. But I grew up under Bishop F.D. Washington.
Right, absolutely. In fact, I have a member of my church, Reverend Al Sharpton. She's up in age now, but she came also from Bishop F.D. Washington's ministry.
Is that right?
Evangelist Mary Layton. Yeah, all of them, you and of course the late Timothy Wright. All
Yeah.
of them came up under the same ministry.
Yeah.
And Mary Layton is still with us. She's up in age now, but it's just an honor to have her from that lineage from New York. And then, of course, there are two other individuals. The late Philip K. Jones II from Cleveland. We just had his funeral. He passed away at the age, Reverend Al, he passed at 43 years old, and he had cancer. Philip was an extraordinary musician, gospel musician, composer, and also he was a jazz musician as well. And then, of course, there's a living legend that is endearing to me, and that is Dr. Fred Nelson III from the city of Chicago, Illinois.
Yes, God.
Yeah, you know Fred Nelson.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, he's an outstanding musician, absolutely. He's my mentor, and I salute him as a living legend, musician, gospel musician. He's played for years at the First Church of Deliverance in Chicago, Illinois. And so those are the ones that I wanted to share with you as it relates to black history and music, composers and writers and individuals who are artists. And I want to say this, and as it relates to our country is in peril right now, Reverend Al Sharpton. And unfortunately, and this man that says that he is a president, to me, he's not. He doesn't carry that presence. He's all out for himself. Donald Trump is for himself. And one of the things that really bothers me is that we have individuals that's in our, among congressmen and some that are senators that are not speaking up against what he's doing, but they're aiding and abetting him. And as a result, we see what has happened as it relates to the disparities in our country. I mean, $2.4 trillion that as possibility that's going to be added to the deficit if this bill is passed under this man. And he's very arrogant. He's all out. Trump is all out for himself. And I do believe, and Reverend Al Sharpton, I do believe this. I believe in all of this. I believe prayer works. And I also believe that people need to also they need to acquiesce. These people that are not representing them correctly, not representing them, congressmen and senators, stop voting them in office. That's where I am. I mean, why vote these people in office if they're not going to represent you?
That's right.
And yes, Reverend Sharpton.
You've been a blessing. You brought me back all the way to my roots. Thank you for your call, and keep me in your prayers. And do great on that radio show. Thank you. Let me go to
Thank you so much.
Let me go to Still Bill in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Buzz. Still Bill.
This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Good afternoon, Reverend.
Good afternoon.
As we celebrate Black Music Month, there's no way in the world that your stellar work with civil rights and, our rights in general will be put on the back burner. As I always say when I come on the show, your work is stellar, including your early work with James Brown, the Godfather's Soul. And some months back when I saw Loudmouth, I was very intrigued. The fact that you presented James Brown with a gold album on Soul Train.
Yeah.
And I tell you, that was
I was
definitely
19. I was 19 years old.
Yeah, 1974. I think it was 74, 75, the Payback album.
Yeah, 74.
And that was a stellar album. It truly was. I give homage to all our Black recording artists, past and present. And you hit it on the nail with Marvin Gaye. I tell you, he was simply smooth like vanilla ice cream. I tell you. I definitely give praise as well to our Black disc jockeys, including Mr. Lincoln Ware of the Buzz. And, like I said, your work in civil rights not put on the back burner. This is definitely a good time to take our minds off of the antics of Donald Trump, because there's no way in the world he can take anything that is Black created away from us. And we celebrate it like it's no tomorrow. And as I say always, Reverend, it was a pleasure talking to you. And to Dominique, I will keep it real.
I will tell her, thank you for your call. Let's go to my friend in the South, D in Northwest Atlanta. D.
Hi, Reverend Al. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
I want to give you a little history from Atlanta, okay?
Please.
When I was in elementary school, one of my classmates was Gladys Knight. And yes, and I think we were like second grade. This was way back in the day. And Gladys appeared on Ted Mack's Original Amateur Hour, and that was like those little shows that they have on now, where they American Idol, those kind of. That was one of those original shows where people would go on and you would vote for the best singer or the best this or that. And I'll never forget that our homework assignment was to have our parents to send in cards. Back in the day, you didn't make phone calls, but you sent in postcards to show who you preferred for your vote. That was your vote, your postcards. And I remember my parents bought a whole bunch of cards, and we filled them out, and we put Gladys's name on them. And Gladys won. And,
is that right? Wow. Gladys won on the Ted Mack, because that was I read about that in history, and that was like before you got to American Idol, all that. That was the forerunner. That was a big deal,
right?
And that was a big deal.
Forerunner. That word escaped me, Reb. Thank you. Yes, that's my little classmate, and my favorite song. And if I run into her now, it's like yesterday. I don't see her like often, but if I just happen to see her, a few years have passed, and I'll see her somewhere, she'll greet you.
Hold 1 minute, because this is Black music history. I want to hear all of this, D. Let's take a break. Be right back. More of you on the phones. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, Keeping it real. Be right back. 1 year ago and change, 67 weeks ago, we started marching every Thursday, am I right, on the offices of Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman was the architect of ending DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. He started it. I want to give a little history because a lot of people get Negroitis and get confusion. I don't even mind your ego. Everybody need one, but you don't have to become contrary and duplicitous. We got to have integrity even among those with ego. So we started when they first came out against DEI. Now Ackman and them started it going to Harvard University, forcing out the first black woman and first black president of Harvard. We went to his office and been going 67 weeks. I went first 10, 12 weeks. And this brother, stand up, Reverend Ron McHenry, coordinator House of Justice. This brother has been there every week. Many of you here in the audience have marched every week. So we didn't just get in this. We were in it the day they came at Claudine got. Last year's convention, we dealt with DEI. This year we said that we're going at these corporations that had come out against DEI. Many of you, most of y'all I'm looking at was at the convention. And we hit Pepsi. Pepsi called and said, all right, we 8-9 days in, we agree to meet. And we went, purchased New York, chairman of our board, Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, and Carol Wallace, who's a special advisor to us on finance, and laid out to them that one, we don't care what you call it, DEI, IED. Y'all are gonna keep your commitments in terms of the black community. And that means we don't want special privilege, but we do not want to be specially excluded. This is not about we don't want merit. We feel if our people are at the table, we can beat anybody on merit in many cases. So we want from employment to your board, to how you deal with marketing, to who does your financial investment. We want to go across the board with that. Otherwise, if you don't want to deal with the question of diversity in how you do your business, then don't deal with diversity in your consumer base, because you don't believe in diversity. So we just will try to remove all the dollars we can from buying your stuff. In fact, I told the chairman, maybe the chairman of the board, maybe the CEO, I said, in fact, I learned that not from growing up civil rights, I learned that from Donald Trump. I said, what do you mean? I said, Donald Trump said he's gonna redo tariffs, that if he doesn't get what he wants for the country, they were gonna raise the tariffs. I'm doing the black tariff reverse. If we don't get what we want, I mean, y'all can't be for Trump and tariff and not be for us in the African American community with a tariff.
It's been a long time coming, but I know.
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
Because I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer.
You got to be the new thing. This is not about likes on Facebook. This is about changes in our society. We got a hostile bigot in the White House, and we don't need a popularity contest. We need people that are grounded and rooted in this and gonna fight with all they got. Jesus went up on the mountain and told his disciples. Reverend Toon said, y'all pray with me. They went to sleep. And when they looked up, they say that he had gone up on the mountain. They termed transfiguration. Is that in the book? And he was talking to Moses and Elijah. If Jesus had to talk to those that preceded him, then how you so brilliant you ain't got to talk to nobody? So as we embark on dealing with this DEI fight, I wanted to read, I studied all week, what would Dr. King be saying? What would Reverend Jackson be saying? That's what we're doing. This ain't a Sharpton thing or whoever thing. This is a thing in continuity. If Dr. King can shut down the Montgomery bus boycott when we couldn't even ride the front of the bus, if Jesse Jackson could take on major corporations before we had cell phones, then we in our day can take these companies that want to say no DEI and shut them down because we come out of a tradition and a lineage that can do that.
This understanding of building upon the foundation left by previous generations. But I think you've mastered that, Rev. You've mastered building upon it, but also getting the current generation to understand the importance of when you accept a baton, to whom much is given, much is not only required, but much is expected.
And you do it yourself. That's why most of the people on our national staff here at National Action Network is under 40 years old. You just turned 41. Most of them. Because I believe in trying to nurture and give young people a chance, because that's what you should do. And they're going to make mistakes. I make them. But then, at the same time, they got to respect those that went ahead to lay the path that they walking down. Otherwise, don't nobody, I said one Saturday morning at Rodney, don't nobody urinate or piss on the tree roots but a stray dog. Because your roots is what is permanent. Your branches go with the seasons. Your leaves go with the season. The roots don't change. You judge the tree by the roots, not by the branches. We're all branches from trees that were grounded, planted, and rooted. And I'm a branch of the tree of the movement that I come out of. Somebody else, another movement. But how am I going to, all them guys ahead of me to know what they was doing? When I'm a branch on their tree. My life comes from the root.
Yeah. That's good.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. And then we're back. Let's go right back to D in Atlanta. D.
Hi, Reverend.
Hi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, thank you. I was reminiscing about my friend. Well, I still call her my friend. I haven't seen her in years, but Gladys Knight and I did attend English Avenue Elementary School in Atlanta, and in fact, she lived a block down from the school. We used to pass her house going to and from school, and she's always been a friendly, down-to-earth person, a beautiful spirit, and along with the Pips, her most famous song is probably Midnight Train to Georgia.
Yeah.
But I also like the best thing that ever happened to me. I heard it through the grapevine, and neither one of us wants to be the last one to say goodbye. And I like, while we're talking about history, Black history, we're going to include a proud white Georgian, and that was President Jimmy Carter, who is the person who created African American Music Appreciation Month. And I'm sure that the current president would never do anything like that.
You got that right. I'm sure of that. But I never knew that connection with you and Gladys. That's wonderful. You know, she did my birthday last year, October. I turned 70. She came and did it at Lincoln Center, and she can still sing.
Yes, I get those emails from the National Action Network. I'm a member.
All right, all right.
Yes, I saw all of that. But yes, thank you for letting me speak, Reb. Have a good one.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Ricky in Texas. Ricky in Texas.
Hello.
Hello there.
How you doing today, Mr. Sharpton?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yes, sir. I'm doing quite well. Thanks for asking. I am meeting your...
Oh, he needs to talk up.
This is on a matter.
You got to talk up. I can't hear nothing but trucks in the background. You got to talk up.
I am... Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. Yes, sir. I have a matter that I'm needing some assistance for my 14th rights being violated by me. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and we were basically, they used the court system to abuse our constitutional rights, and I am needing, maybe you know somebody, you can make a phone call, you can give me
Where are you at in Texas?
I'm in San Antonio.
Okay. All right, pick him up, get his numbers. Let me see if we get one of our people in Texas to help him. Thank you for your call. Let's go to Richard in Wisconsin. Richard.
Yes. Hello, Rev. I was talking about, I'm keeping my eye on what's going on with these South Africans coming to America, and I'm not sure, but I've been hearing reports about them getting land, and I think the Republican Party and Trump need to leave that alone, because you got black folks that ain't got their 40 acres of the mule. You got Indians up in the reserves, and also even the white farmers, they struggling with this Trump stuff, with what Trump did with them. And could you imagine a white American farmer who's been here all these years, and they about to lose their farm, and Trump and the Republican Party and Elon Musk about bringing some white South Africans here and giving them land.
He brought them. They brought 59 of them here. 59.
Yeah, and I hope to God they don't give them the land, because I always wanted reparations, but in the back of my mind I thought, like, it ain't gonna happen. But if they give them white South Africans some land, I'm definitely demanding my 40 acres and a mule, because if they could get some people who didn't do nothing for America, and they could come here and get some free land, I'm definitely demanding my 40 acres and a mule.
Well, even if it's not free, even if they make banking and mortgaging and other things easy for them, which is tantamount to free when you're dealing with mortgage companies and banks that do not operate in a fair way with us. In many ways, it's predatory. In some ways, it's exclusionary. So you're bringing it up and bringing it up correctly. And this is happening in our face.
Yeah, and we need to keep the pressure on Elon Musk. We can't let him. He needs to divest in all those companies, they need to send him to a retirement someplace. You need to get an island somewhere or something and retire and divest from all those companies, because I'm not having nothing to do with Tesla, SpaceX. The guy is a nut. He has no business being anywhere near a space program. They need to retire him like they tried to do Mussolini and Hitler. They kept telling Mussolini and Hitler to retire. They kept coming back until eventually his own people turned him upside down, hung him upside down, and beat him to death with a bat. They need to send him and Trump. We got to deal with probably 4 years, but Trump, man, if you're listening, you need to chill out, man, because you don't want to go. This is a wound you don't want to even open, man, because it's affecting the Indians. Everybody's sitting back trying to get along, trying to work out with America, because there's a lot of stuff that was done to all of us, and we're sitting back here just trying to work it out, trying to make lemon out of lemonades. And but this is one thing you do not want to go there, because it's affecting white people in America, black people that ain't got that 40 acres of mule, Indians up on a reservation. I'm telling you, this is the one that you do not want to mess with. And we got to keep that pressure on Elon Musk, to all them cats out there talking about, I'm driving in the Cybertruck, and it's because a person at a company, I'm not getting outside. Forget that. Shoot, black folks stop riding buses and stuff like that, and they talk about, well, if somebody at Apple messed up, you wouldn't give your iPhone. Yes, I would. I would go what you call that to the other company, or otherwise if I got to send them smoke signals or go back to playing the drum to do messages, fine. If somebody at Apple messed up, I will give my iPhone up. So we need to keep that pressure on Elon Musk and Trump. Don't let Elon Musk try to fake out, because he's mad about that bill, mainly because Trump didn't give him what he wanted, more tax breaks or contracts and stuff like that. So we need to keep that pressure on Elon Musk, get him into a retirement home somewhere, have him divest all of his companies. Otherwise, we're not dealing with SpaceX or Tesla.
All right. Let me thank you for your call. Let me take my break. We will be right back. More of you on the other side of the break. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Did you hear about what happened in Minneapolis? I said I saw it on television. It was in the middle of a pandemic. We were all locked down, couldn't go anywhere. And just watched the news over and over again. And he said the family would like to speak with him. He connected Philonis Floyd and one of George's brothers, carrying on with Keepin, and other members, all of the families, many of the families. And he said they'd like you to go to Minneapolis and protest what happened, and also say that we are not a family that condone violence, but some people were burning stuff down. In the middle of a pandemic, it's important that you know that people from all over, Black America, white America, all people came together to stand with this family. But I promised them that we would be there to the end. 5 years later, some people are missing, but I had to be here. And I'll be here as long as it takes to be here. This week, we saw some change over the years. We did not get the George Floyd justice bill, but we got consent decree in Minneapolis, where he was killed, and in Louisville, Kentucky, where Breonna Taylor was killed. This week, the Department of Justice under Donald Trump said they were going to end this consent decree, which is tantamount to the Department of Justice and the President spitting on the grave. To wait to the anniversary and announce this, knowing this family was going to be brought back to the brokenheartedness of what happened, shows the disregard and insensitivity.
Stop going through your life like you are a co-star or a bit player in your own drama. No, you are the main star. You're the central figure in your life. What you decide is what is the major thrust of your life. And others may contribute, impact, affect, but it's your life that you're central in. So stop trying to lay the weight of what you do or don't do on others. That weight is squarely on your shoulders and in your hand. And if you want to defer and give your life choices to others, that's on you. If they have any sense at all, they will be so busy trying to conduct and properly guide their life, they will not have time to try to major in your life. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me with other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones. And too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about it is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school? Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532 5797 1877 532 5797 Twitter.com The Rev Al. Let me remind you again to watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 Saturdays and Sundays, and I've been on the phones working on some guests with the question of this bill, as well as the question of where we're going in terms of so many items. We've got to put the pressure on and the spotlight on the right issues and the right techniques. And that's why these weekend shows I do Saturday and Sunday become imperative, because I put the senators on and the members of Congress, governors on, and the experts, so we can put the pressure on the right people. As long as they feel that there is a lack of information, an uninformed public, then they will do whatever they want in the dark. You know, I often tell a story about, I grew up in the hood in Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York, and it was at a time that we had roaches. And I remember, you know, we had lived in Queens a while, a little more middle class. My father left, we moved in the hood, in Brownsville, East Flatbush. And my sister kept telling me, we go to bed at night, they got roaches, there's roaches in the kitchen. And she got me up one night, there's roaches in the kitchen. We went in the kitchen, I turned the light on, I looked, no roaches. I was mad. I went back to bed, leave me alone. About 15 minutes later, she said, I'm telling you there's roaches. Brought me back in kitchen, I turned the light on. I see no roaches. Finally, she brought me back in 10 minutes later, and I didn't turn the light on. When I walked in the room, I waited a minute, just sleepy. And when I did flip the light, the roaches started running for cover. And I learned then that if you don't cut the light on roaches, they'll have a 5-course meal at your table. So part of my political strategy has always been to cut the lights on and watch them run. And that's the only way we're going to be able to stomp them out. And that's what we do every Saturday and Sunday. I put the light on these roaches. They cutting SNAP. They cutting Medicaid. This is what we need to do with it. These are the ones we need to identify. And we've got a gap with Elon Musk now causing mischief. But if we don't take advantage of that, I don't trust Trump or Musk, but if we don't take advantage of that, we will not get these policies through. Support it by watching Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time every Saturday and Sunday, and I'm booking folks now. Also, you in the New York tri-state area, whether it be Connecticut, New Jersey, or New York, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem. And it's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. You that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television, which is the only national black-owned gospel network. And, of course, you can watch it also at www.National Action Network, our live stream. Lastly, the big march, August 28th in Washington. Nothing will send a stronger message on the anniversary of the March on Washington, 63, than for thousands of us with dignity and determination to march on Wall Street where the money is. Those are the people that call the shots and gets the attention of Trump and this Republican Congress. They finance them. They're the ones pushing some of this through. And we've not come and expose that. So I want you to come. I want you to encourage others to come. People often say to me, Reverend Al, I agree with you. I just don't know what to say. Those that sign up, I will send you every Friday a paragraph of what to say to your relatives, your friends, your church buddies, your bingo buddies. Sign up right now at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. All right, let's go to Miranda in Georgia. WAOK, Miranda.
Yes. How are you doing, Reverend Al Sharpton?
I'm doing well.
Wonderful. I've watched you throughout the years, my family, and I appreciate and respect the continued advocation you do for our community.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. Yes. I'm in Augusta, Georgia. And
Wow.
currently, we're going through something here. They've torn down the James Brown Arena.
Yeah.
And they're trying to take away that name. And it's like back to back, they keep doing things that are taking away the memories and the accreditation of very important people, and especially in the Black community.
Well, you know,
and in respect,
and I'm gonna let you finish, Miranda. When they opened that arena in 2000 and I believe 2006, James Brown had me come down and do the speaking. I spoke at that ceremony, and if you look at the pictures, he had me hold the cord with him to unveil it. So when Deanna Brown told me about it, it hit me to my heart. That's the last time I saw James Brown alive. He died that December, and I think we opened it in October. But so it's not only history, and you're right about that. It's personal to me, and whatever we can do to keep that arena, I'm definitely part of that.
yes, so in respect to also to this bill, this taking away, or this tax that's supposed to basically cut all assistance, especially to women and children, my question is there a way for us to unite or to come together to congregate to create our own supply system?
It's funny you say that because I have some businessmen that have been on this, and I think that I don't know if I'm allowed to go public with it yet, but I'll just say yes, there's some people working on it. Let me put it that way.
That is wonderful, because I don't see any other way. I don't see any other way when it seems like whenever we are in a system that can at any time change a rule or take away something, how we'll ever be able to, have consistency and, respect for the things that we're going to need, especially comes to Medicaid and, for some food stamps. And
right.
So if we were self-sufficient somehow, where we create a system where out of our own resources, because then what could they do?
That's true.
Nothing.
Well, we're working on that. We've got to figure out alternative economic entities that we can survive through. Thank you, Miranda, and I'm in touch with Deanna Brown on this James Brown Arena in Augusta. I every day I say I should go down there, but I don't want to make it worse by those backlash folks. But if I need to come, I'll be there. Let's go to Ira in Washington, D.C. Ira, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yeah, appreciate you taking my call, Mr. Sharpton. I called before. This one I got two quick subjects. I saw something last night. I don't know if it's AI or originally. It says HR 3518. It's some kind of amendment that he's trying to put to get rid of, or at least stop black doctors from going to school and learn to be doctors. And we only have 7% of doctors in the U.S. are black, and they're trying to create that. Whatever this bill is called, HR 35-18. That's the first thing. I don't know how true that is, but I'm just passing it on to you. And in D.C., they have this closed DuPont Circle because the LG community wants to have their little festivities. So someone from the administration had closed that down, so they can't. They closed that street DuPont Circle down, so they can't have their festivities. And that's the second thing.
Wait. They closed DuPont Circle from the LGBT groups. They can have Pride. It's the Pride Month. DuPont Circles. I mean, that's historically been used.
I know, and everybody in this city knows that, but this is what they did according to the administration, had them do this: shut DuPont Circle down on the day they want to have their festivity, like today, tomorrow, the next day, whatever. They close it down to the LG community people. So I just thought I'd bring that up for people who live in Washington D.C. or who listen to the radio show who don't know anything about what's going on here.
Wow.
And my last thing is, I just heard something on a radio station, a white radio station, that in the military they're going to rename the ships that are named after minority people. As you know, if we have ships that are named some kind of military guy who was lost his life in the military, he was a gay person. They're going to rename all the things.
Harvey Milk, I believe. They're changing his name today. And they waited till Pride Month to do it, to offend the LGBTQ. And a lot of us, I'm not LGBTQ, if they set the precedence with Harvey, they'll do it next with Thurgood Marshall and I think you that, because of us people, their own family. What do you think they'll do to your family? Being so tribal and trivial, and I just said, and stupid. And let's realize they're playing for white male supremacy, and they'll take everybody down in order to do it. All right, let me thank all of you that called in, you that listened in, you that called in, listened in, and couldn't get through. Remember, whatever you do, however you feel, wherever you go, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you tomorrow.